A special good morning to you and yours. How are you doing this morning? I trust that you had yourselves a pleasant night's rest. My name is Marvin Hanley with THG News Today, right here on THG Network. It is Wednesday, May 29th, 2024. It is a special day today because it is the birthday of my son, Asher Sonore Hanley. He's celebrating birthday today. And of course, son, I wish you a wonderful day. And may God continue to bless you and to keep you. And of course, we love you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, this is your time to do so. Please subscribe. Thank you so much in advance for that. The news this morning is powered by Carl & Sons on St. Maarten with 2 locations on the island in Colbay and in Phillipsburg. That's on the Pontville. And of course, Feezes on Nevis. So what's happening? We'll get to some stories. I know last night the Nevis Reformation Party, they would have had a town hall meeting, and lots came out of that town hall meeting. Just in case you missed it, I'm sure that we will have a press statement and other information regarding that town hall. They spoke about the rising cost of electricity. Everything is just going up in Nevis, and the folks can't take it anymore. And the Nevis Reformation Party in opposition, they had a very large turnout last night to this town hall, an indication that folks are not being quiet anymore. And they are definitely taking a stand. From water increase to electricity increase to hospital fees increased, everything they're increasing. Food, but the only thing that's not increasing, and that is the salaries. Salaries are not increasing, at least not for the ordinary man and woman on Nevis. But let us get to the news this morning, and we'll have more on that. Currently on Antigua, it's the United Nations Small Island Developing States Conference there on Antigua, where over 5,000 delegates are there, over 30 world leaders and dignitaries. The SIDS conference has commenced in Antigua with the president of SIDS and the prime minister, the Honorable Gaston Browne, criticizing wealthy nations for failing to fulfill their obligations to lessen the impact of carbon emissions. Browne used strong language like empty and grossly inadequate to characterize the climate pledges made by these nations. With over 5,000 attendees, the conference aims to address the vulnerability of small island states across the Pacific, Atlantic, and Caribbean to economic crises and rising temperatures due to their exposure to natural disasters, high debt, and reliance on imports and tourism. Browne called for more climate financing, a global carbon tax on oil companies, an end to fossil fuel subsidies, and a faster transition to renewable energy source. He also urged rich nations to honor a pledge to send $100 billion a year to poorer countries to help reduce emissions and to mitigate extreme weather. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres emphasized the need for better financing options and bigger contributions to the Loss and Damage Fund for Small Island Developing States. The United Nations Secretary General condemned the idea that entire island states would become collateral damage for profit-making by the fossil fuel industry or competition between major economies as simply obscene. Loss and Damage announced at last year's COP28 summit was intended to help poor countries recover from climate disasters, but funding from wealthy nations has been insufficient. Browne expressed disappointment, stating that the major contributors to climate change have failed to meet their obligations. And guess what? Some of these wealthy nations, they had representatives sitting right there in the audience, some of them in the front row, while Prime Minister Gaston Browne called them out. And he expressed his dissatisfaction, his disappointment of the inadequate resources to assist poorer countries to reduce emissions and to mitigate extreme weather. And I believe that this is a conversation governments and any organization, everybody needs to get involved in the conversation regarding climate change and all of that, because I know that, yes, there are some governments who are trying their very best right now to bring that discussion to the forefront. but I believe more effort should be made, at least as far as sensitizing the public, because you walk in through a village and you talk to somebody about climate change or even what this conference is about, and sadly, they can't tell you. They don't know anything about it. And even the brightest minds out there, even those with top jobs or whatever the case may be, they can't tell you anything about climate change because they have not educated themselves about it, and there is not enough public sensitizing on the issue. I just believe that more awareness and more finance should be made in terms of the public relations, marketing, and more conferences such as this one to bring a broader light on this topic and natural disasters and all of that stuff. Yeah. Now we move on to Anguilla. We know that there's a group of people on Anguilla. I keep having to applaud them because they are not giving the Republic Bank any sleep, any rest. And quite frankly, the Republic Bank, they do not deserve any sleep and any rest until this matter has been resolved. I give kudos to those people on Anguilla. Kudos to you for what you have been doing. You have been a voice for the people. You have caused a whole stir, not just in Anguilla, but people are waking up and people are following from across the Caribbean islands. Now, let me talk about what's happening there. A group of 280 customers of the Republic Bank Anguilla Limited, represented by Mrs. Melissa McCool-Niles and Anushka Romney, along with Tara Carter, have formally responded to the bank's recent apology email regarding the unauthorized debiting of accounts due to technical errors. And this is a press statement I'm reading. The customer spokespersons emphasized that the apology fails to address key issues raised in previous communications. In a letter addressed to Ms. Charlene Barry, country manager of Republic Bank Anguilla Limited, the petitioners highlighted several fundamental concerns that remain unaddressed. The bank's liability acknowledgement, the group's letter from May 8, 2024, cited the customer services agreement, which holds the bank accountable for losses resulting from technical problems, bank errors, or system malfunctions. The bank's apology email neglected to acknowledge this responsibility. 2. Incorrect posting dates. Transactions were posted on April 27th and 29th, 2024, violating the posting of transactions clause. Oh, they got Republic Bank in a clock. Let's continue. Unauthorized debiting. The errors led to unauthorized debits and overdrawn accounts, causing significant financial distress for many customers. Very good case for a lawsuit here. Let's continue. Lack of verification opportunity. Customers were not allowed to investigate and verify the transactions before the debits occurred. And next one, bank's responsibility for losses. The damages resulted from the bank's technical errors for which the bank is liable according to its own customer services agreement. We are in school this morning. And delayed response and code of practice breach. The bank's delayed response and failure to adhere to the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank's codes of practice have compounded the issue. The letter has also been forwarded to the governor of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank and other relevant authorities and media outlets such as THG Network. So there you have it. The ladies, the voices, the signatories, they're not taking this laying down. They're not taking this laying down. And I believe that something good will come out of this. Something great will come out of this. And there'll be lessons to be learned. And I hope other financial institutions that you're taking note. And finally, in our news this morning, as we know it, just for those of you who did not know this information, the election date on St. Maarten has changed now, will now be held on August 19th, according to an amended decree to dissolve the Parliament of St. Maarten. The new date of elections is one of several amendments made to the May 21st decree to dissolve Parliament from the Mercelina cabinet. According to the amendments, elections will be on August 19th, nomination day on July 2nd, and the Parliament will be dissolved on September 20th and have its first meeting on the same day. The original decree had listed July 18th for the snap elections, May 31st for nomination day, and the new Parliament to be sworn in on August 19th. Concerns had been expressed about the feasibility of the deadline set in the original decree. Objections were also made by the Department of Civil Registry. It would be impossible to guarantee the required careful preparation and the orderly conduct of the elections. And in response to these concerns, government submitted revised dates on May 25th to still remain within the 3-month period for calling elections as stipulated in the Constitution. So according to the amended decree, in an effort to reach a practical solution within the framework of the Constitution, as well as the National Ordinance on the registration and the financing of political parties and the Electoral Ordinance, consultation between the Governor, the Prime Minister, and the Chairperson of the Central Voting Bureau took place on May 25th. Parties examined all possible solutions. It was concluded that due to the practical objections and the capacity problems at the Civil Registry Department, there were serious objections that made it practically impossible to organize the elections carefully and responsibly within the originally prescribed period. Government was therefore forced to change the dates for nomination, voting, and the first meeting of the newly elected parliament. The government has taken into account the possibility for political parties to register and to comply with the provisions prescribed in the Electoral Ordinance. The decision also takes into account the principle of the democratic constitutional state that an election once called cannot be reversed. The present decision deviates from the period of no more than 3 months between the dissolution decision and the first meeting of the new parliament. This deviation is not treated lightly by the government, and as such, a deviation is only justified in very exceptional circumstances. And this, my friends, that was an exceptional circumstance there on St. Maarten. I'm telling you, it is just something. It is just something what's going on there. And, well, there will be an election, and I hope that people choose wisely. Stability. That needs to be the message that should resonate to the people of St. Maarten. You have to look from over the years. Let's look from 20 years back up until now. The people of St. Maarten must decide which party, which political party, whether one or two of them, who provided stability for those years, for the last 20 years, which political party provided stability for 4 years. And the answer is there. I'm sure you can do your research and see, and then you make your decision from that. Because what the country of St. Maarten needs right now is stability. And that's the end of my program today. Do join me again tomorrow morning, God's willing, at 6 o'clock Atlantic Standard Time for a similar presentation. The news, of course, was sponsored by Carl & Sons on St. Maarten, with 2 locations on the island, on the Punfill and in Colbay, and of course, Feezes on Nevis. I am Mervyn Henley, and I'm wishing you a wonderful day.
Carl & Sons have been serving the people of St. Maarten for over 40 years. And the food and service get better and better. From early morning, customers flock to the bakery for their favorite sandwiches, cakes, pastries, you name it. First thing at mornings and last thing at afternoons, folks rush to Carl & Sons for simply the best. There are 2 locations, Colbay and on the Punfill. In Colbay, the opening hours are Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. On Saturdays, 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. And on Sundays, 6:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. and 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Opening hours on the Punfill, Monday to Friday, 6:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, 6:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. We also cater for weddings, parties, special events, whatever the occasion. It's Carl & Sons. Our staff, we are always happy to serve you. Call us today, the Colbay location, 721-544-2462. That's 721-544-2462. Or in Phillipsburg, 721-543-1059. That's 721-543-1059. It's Carl & Sons Bakery. We are here to serve you. Nevis, satisfy your sweet tooth at Feezes, the cozy spot in Charlestown, known for its mouth-watering ice cream and dal parade. We are open Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Come in and sample our patties, sandwiches, air-fried wings with fries, hot dogs, rotis, and now our famous smoothies, in all flavors of course. And don't forget to try the famous bus-up shut and saltfish. It's Feezes, located at the entrance to the Cotton Jewelry Mall in Charlestown, Nevis. They're also available by phone, so place your order by calling 1-869-665-2458. Don't ask about the rest, just try the best.